So here's a warning to all my real estate agent friends out there is don't become a commoditized asset. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you look at different types of industries, when consumers approach something and they want information, if you can provide only the information that's the same information they can get anywhere else, then what value are you bringing? You really need to stay ahead of the curve. You look like companies like Zillow in the States, they became purveyors of information. And what did real estate agents used to hold as the biggest thing that they could provide? It was the MLS listings. It was the book. Well, access to information is rapidly changing. In my opinion, I think consumers are going to have full access to sales data and everything else within the next 5 or 10 years. So get ready for that. What's your value proposition? What do you bring to the table? You got to make sure that you do something that stands out from the crowd and earn your value. Long gone are the days from us just sitting here, like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain with all this information that nobody else can have. You got to make sure that you're bringing value in every single transaction. Estate agents make in this business is not following up with past clients and people they've actually done successful transactions with. Real estate agents are notorious for getting caught up with bright, shiny object syndrome, whether that be marketing, leads, somebody that just called them and getting caught up in the day-to-day. Make sure you're calling the people that you've worked with in the past, touching base with them, seeing where they're at in their lives, not necessarily just for sale. Maybe they're doing a renovation and they need some advice. If you're a seller or a buyer and you've worked with somebody and you're looking at refinancing, maybe you're redoing the bathroom or the kitchen, or maybe you're going to put an infinity edge pool in the backyard and over improve the property by $75,000. That's your decision, but your real estate agent's there as a resource for you. We get paid on the transaction, but it's a lifelong relationship, and don't be shy. That's what they're there for. The real estate agents that watch this show, I hope this spurs you to pick up that phone and call the people you've done business with, because, it can get so far gone that you don't even realize that they may be looking to sell their house. Market, probably one of the most common questions you get asked as a real estate agent. And if you know what you're talking about, you're going to say which market. It really depends. Are you a buyer? Are you a seller? Are you an investor? Are you looking at commercial real estate? What you got to be careful about when you're asking people how's the market is who are you talking to and what's their end game. Do they do enough business, and are they going to survive through downturns in markets? Are they investor focused? Are they buyer focused? Not only that, in a geographic area, it could depend street to street or what's happening with impending development. So it's a very, very loaded question, but you can actually learn a lot about a real estate agent. Can't hold a gun to somebody's head and force them to come up with a good idea. I actually heard that on a podcast that I listened to. It's very tongue-in-cheek. It's The Fighter and the Kid. Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen, and they were talking about workplaces and, civilizations and cities, and the concept that, yeah, you can force people to do stuff. If you own a company, you can crack the whip, create an environment where you make them do things. But what if you're really trying to inspire somebody or create a culture where they can feel creative and come up with amazing ideas? You need to foster that creativity. You're never really going to be in a position where you're going to force somebody to come up with that idea willingly. So, a tip to the business owners out there, the team members, the real estate agents that operate with, multiple teams is foster that environment. Lead by example. Don't tell people what you want them to do. Show them how inspirational you can be, and in turn create an environment that lets their creativity and ideas So appraisers live in the past. Topic of discussion that was on a podcast I was listening to today, and it's an interesting one, especially if you're not in the industry. Reason being is they were talking about commercial real estate. So developers now and people that are building new commercial real estate or redeveloping sites are looking at LEED technology because that's something that tenants are wanting. They're wanting energy saving features, things that they're going to need in 10, 15, 20 years if they're signing leases that are that long. The argument that they were having is when they're dealing with appraisers look at historical sales to establish future value. So if historical sales haven't been adding LEED technology, then will spending $250,000 improving my building bring me that back in 10 years? Tough to tell when you're looking at past statistics and not knowing what the future market's going to be. In my opinion, it is the direction things are going, and it is very, very important. But how are you going to figure out that balance? That's the question.